Now, I would like to welcome Mr. Diptanshu Sharma. Thank you so much for coming here, Mr. Sharma, taking out time for a value addition. And I would request Mr. Shashikant Ravi to introduce Mr. Diptanshu Sharma.
Happy morning once again, all the lovely faces. So let me, I got this privilege to introduce Mr. Diptanshu. He's an extraordinary talent, I come across every time he surprises me by his simplicity and achievement. He has very diversified experience over 20 years in different domains like information technology, visual communication, web technology, and project management. He is very passionate about new technologies and enjoy a wide range of interests. He helped in setting up EC World India Test Center for latest IT product review, and he has appeared in CNBC TV also to speak on the technology as well. He has been completed, 2 years in the Banyan tribe journey. He has contributed a lot in development of the business community, Banyan tribe. So today we are lucky enough to hear his wisdom. So let's listen more from Mr. Diptanshu what he has in his bucket for us today. So welcome, Mr. Diptanshu. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Steve, for a great introduction, and happy morning to everyone. Uh, yeah, please continue the slide because I want people to look at this and think what comes to them in one word. जो आपके दिमाग में आता है आपको क्या लगता है like when you look at these kind of people you just progress एक एक करके slides next yeah so when you look at all these people what comes to your mind? They all have something in common. This is the word. So when you look at at anyone who I mean, this is a kind of a mindset. It's a word that we all want to achieve, and this is something that we all, in some way, we want to raise our own quality standards and maybe our own personal brand. Next slide, please. The word professional comes from the word profession. Any type of work that needs special training or a particular skill, often one that is respected because it involves high level of education. Next, please. Next slide. Sorry. A professional, yeah. A professional is a person who is connected with a job that needs high level of training and or education, doing something in a way that shows skill, training, or care. अब इसमें ये कहना है मतलब basically it's a mindset. So when we think professional, we are thinking from a professional mindset. Next slide. The three qualities of a professional. सबसे पहले, you can work unsupervised. Now you imagine that you are a business owner, you are a professional, or maybe you're in a managerial position in some company. So you need to think of what you need to be a professional and how you think you will be delivering the duties. So that means you can work unsupervised, and you are qualified enough to self-certify कि काम हो गया. You don't need people to tell you कि काम हुआ है नहीं हुआ है and what are the quality standards. Number 3 is very important, is to behave with integrity at all times. इसके बारे में next we'll come to the next slide. Next slide. Yeah. So here's one example. So these are real life examples of a maid. These are actually people you would not normally associate as professionals. Now, the maid, when she comes, she doesn't normally like if most we will be associated with them कि भाई we'll be telling them कि यहाँ पर काम करो वहाँ पर काम करो basically. But usually they will have enough experience to know कि कौन सा काम करना है. They have their duties outlined. Mahadeva is another example of a person you would not associate as a professional because of his role. But he's been doing this from childhood. No one told him to do this, and he's been giving dead bodies and some kind of dignity in his role. He रात हो दिन हो जैसे भी हो, he does it without pay. And so obviously when it time comes to dispose of bodies, he is called because they know कि काम हो जाएगा. Next slide, please. Here's the one that we typically can associate with a professional, right? And the three qualities you see here are bold, resourceful, and motivated. Now you think as a professional, you will be working from some kind of a leadership role. You think that the leader will not need another leader or some boss to tell you what to do. So obviously these are qualities that a professional needs to have. Next. Yeah. A professional mindset. Now for this, you don't really need a formal education, but you do need some kind of training in whether it is formal setup or some kind of route, maybe an experience or something that get in a 5,000 hours, 10,000 hours to become an expert. Similarly, when you're working as an independent, as a professional, that means you are in charge of delivering your duties. So unlikely roles can be even a designer or cook or a factory worker, but they know what is to be done. Next slide. Here's another one. This is a very important factor over here, integrity. Because integrity is basically sets the culture of your own company or your organization. Because you set the rules and you follow the rules. Now, suppose you have someone, say he's a top salesperson, but unfortunately he has fudged up the travel vouchers. तो आप क्या करेंगे उस हिसाब से? What, how will you behave as a professional? That means you need to set the culture. Excuse me, there's some noise in the background. In my own case, as a reviewer in PC World, somebody came to me and said, "Ki mera, I scratch your back, you scratch my back." So his product was really not worth selling to people basically. So he asked me ki if I write a good review and then he will pay me. But then obviously when I say it will reflect on the brand as me as personally as a reviewer, or if the customer buys the wrong product, obviously it's going to affect sales. So obviously I had to deny it. Personality traits of a professional. You have to be confident enough that you know your role, and if you want to keep learning and progress as a professional, that means you need to know where you are wrong and how to patch up and maybe deliver the best services. That means you should be open to ask for help, uh, go out, reach out to people, network, do things, be proactive, and make sure that you are actually there on top of your game. Next slide. Another important is when you don't complain because you are your own boss, and so that means who will you complain to and why would you complain to? Because you have to do your job. Another जैसे पंडित होता है तो he is independently running uh, delivering his service. एंड जैसे होता है कि रूटीन वाला काम है, तो मतलब रोज जाना है पंडित, मतलब he has to deliver पूजा मंत्र जो भी करना है, so he is going to give some kind of stories and make it entertaining, and so people also enjoy you being there. Networking is very important as a professional because then only you can be resourceful and you can provide solutions if you don't have the solutions yourself. And white space is something very important because as a professional, maybe if you're running a business, हर रोज काम नहीं आता है. Sometimes there are downtimes also. फिर आप क्या करेंगे? Then those are the times when you have to think, plan, and prepare. Prepare for the next. जब जब काम आएगा, then you should be prepared with your skills and the strategy. Next slide. So let's summarize. That we've seen the three qualities. उसके अलावा there are some other qualities as a professional that we need to keep in mind. That means you need to say no to some jobs that don't meet your own ethical standards. you should be open to ask for help and know your own limits. तभी तो आपको, then only you can argue your own position that okay, what you're saying is right, and maybe it's not, then maybe you can guide your client or customer to the right direction. You can adapt to new technology maybe, or changes in culture or the business climate. You are setting the culture for your own self and your own business. You're connecting with people, and the kind of people that you're connecting with, वो भी एक फर्क पड़ता है. It increases your own level of service, and ultimately you have to look at the long term effects of your own decisions. कि आज जो आपने decision लिया है, how does it affect you as a professional and as a business person? That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Diptanshu Sharma. It was a wonderful value add and great, that how we can do it different and what is the difference between professional and unprofessional. So huge eye opener, doing things differently, how it makes us look different.
Yeah, so I just wanted to add the reason for this presentation is because of my own personal experiences. कि किसी ने एक बार कहा था कि would you like to work with a professional? And that was one of my business biggest learning experiences, because it was a huge loss basically. So you need to know personally कि आप किससे बात कर रहे हैं और किसके साथ काम कर रहे हैं, and you should know your own कि you should be confident of your own ethical standards and your own work. That is why.
That's
Thank you.
great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for giving this value addition and sparing your time to join this meeting and do this thing today. Thank you.